yo.
All right, hello and welcome to the Herald podcast, episode number 21. This is the late night edition because it is extremely late when we're recording this to get it out for you guys on the day. I'd just like to start off by apologizing for not live streaming this podcast. We ran into some internet problems Monday night, and we wanted to make up for it Tuesday night, but we ran into some unforeseen issues, let's put it that way. So we apologize for that. We'll be back in action this Monday, and we will not miss it. We want to try to get on a more solid schedule and not miss any of our things. But so we'll get on that for you guys. But today we have a podcast. It's pre-recorded, but we have some interesting topics. It is really late when we're recording it, so it might not be the longest of our podcasts, but hopefully it'll be jam-packed of the most viable information for you guys. Today I'm joined by it's just me and one other friend. It's just a little intimate podcast. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Austin.
Well, it's Austin back again with another episode of the Holo Herald podcast. Yeah, things have been pretty hectic here, and we're excited to get this out for you guys and discuss some interesting topics, read some articles from the internet. You know how it goes.
Yeah, exactly. We were actually debating like maybe not doing a podcast this week, just being like, hey, sorry, we couldn't make it. But there has been like so much in the news and mixed reality related, and a lot of other stuff's been happening in the AR/MR world that we just decided we at least got to get the big stuff out of the way. So yeah, I guess we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna jump right into it. One of the biggest announcements this week is the HoloLens will have a custom AI chip designed by Microsoft. It's called the HPU chip. What is it called?
Well, that's the holographic processing unit.
That's the holographic processing unit. The HPU 2.0. Microsoft's new AI coprocessor will incorporate into the HoloLens holographic processing unit, or HPU. So there's kind of a couple news stories, I guess, into one. There's the holographic processing unit, which is supposed to bump up our new MREAL capabilities, if I understand correctly. Is that right, Austin?
I believe so.
And then they're going to use AI, so artificial intelligence, to really enhance the spatial awareness and the hologram placement, so it can actually learn your surroundings instead of just scanning them. I'm anticipating it to be able to learn your surroundings and kind of estimate when things move, and if I move a table, it will, instead of just rescanning, it can automatically tell using functions and using programming and software and stuff. It can automatically just remove that.
We'll be able to see a more real-time scan. Is that what they're saying?
I'm hoping so. I'm assuming with the artificial intelligence, it's going to be able to estimate and to guesstimate things before it even happens. So, and to account for them much quicker. So instead of having to constantly be scanning, it could kind of intelligently know your surroundings. So like if someone walks past, or if it scans a person and it'd say, hey, this is a person, this person's probably going to move, add some sort of intelligence to the scanning.
Like, are we talking like keyframing with animation, that sort of stuff, or?
No, just software. So okay, let's say there's a person standing in your room and you scan that person and it knows it's a person. It recognizes that you scanned a person, and the artificial intelligence would say, hey, this is a person. It's probably going to move. So let's go ahead and make sure we have a plan ready for when that person moves. So when that person moves, instead of scanning them in again, it would just automatically fill in the space where it was with, move them around or whatever. It can kind of anticipate things. So it can also know objects. So now the HoloLens is decent at guessing objects. It can guess if a table is this, it's probably this height, or if it's a couch, it's probably this height. So do this with it, But the artificial intelligence could probably learn your surroundings smarter, know that is a table, know that is your fridge, and know that this is your computer and stuff like that, and add some level of integration to that, which is really exciting when you start thinking of the possibilities.
Mm-hmm. So is this is going to be the third edition of the HoloLens? Is there how many?
I'm thinking this is, I think they're estimated 2019, so HoloLens 2.
Sweet. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. I mean, think of the capabilities. Let's see. I'm going to read a little bit from this article from The Verge. There are two main ways to facilitate this sort of on-device AI. The first is by building special lightweight neural networks that don't require as much processing power. Both Facebook and Google are working on this. The second is by creating custom AI processors, architectures, and software, which is what companies like ARM and Qualcomm are doing. It's rumored that Apple is also building its own AI processor for the iPhone, a so-called Apple Neural Engine, and now Microsoft is doing the same for the HoloLens. So you can kind of see that this is a great example of the technology growing extremely fast. The developers and the engineers designing these devices and designing applications for them are already realizing the limitations of the current ecosystem, the current hardware and current soft processing power and current intelligence of the devices. And this is them kind of bumping it up forward. You know, it's really exciting. It shows that they're not just gonna slow down advancement in the technology, slow down progression in the technology just to sell more devices. They're ready to make this as good as possible, as soon as possible. Reportedly arriving in 2019. There's still no release date for the HoloLens 2, but it's reportedly arriving in 2019 when it lands. AI will be even more central for everyday computing, and the specialized silicon will likely be in high demand. That's so weird to me that it uses like actual silicon to do that. Yeah. I guess that's why they call it Silicon Valley, huh?
Yep, that's exactly why.
That's so crazy to me. So that's some interesting news. You guys can go ahead in the comments below. Tell us what you guys think, and if you guys are excited about this, or you think they're moving too fast. They're already jumping too many technologies, because this will probably render the most HoloLenses and devices useless at that point. You know, at least if not useless, very what's the word I'm looking for?
Obsolete.
Obsolete. It'll render them obsolete almost. Do you think they're going to do that, or do you think they're going to try to keep the HoloLens?
I mean, they're so close together in times of release. Do you think there would be some cross compatibility or something that works on both devices? I
hope so, because I mean, we bought one and they're so expensive that it'd be kind of a bummer if it was out already by 2019. But I think they'll probably try to facilitate it. You know, there'll be so many HoloLens and stuff out there by that time that they'd have to probably do something to facilitate it.
It's interesting with like mixed reality devices, headsets and whatnot. When there's an improvement, it's usually always, well, like the hardware is the improvement most of the time, and so it makes other devices go out obsolete like instantly. Oh. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, whereas a phone, like the apps are kind of what makes the phone, and you know, normally it's the OS that makes your phone obsolete. Like you can no longer get OS 10 because your iPhone's too old or something, you know what I mean? But now it's going to be like your stuff just does not have the required hardware built into it to be able to do this app.
Yep.
You know,
because it's completely different technology.
And there's probably no way to develop for both of those. I mean, there might be, you know, I don't know. It'll be really interesting to see where they go with this and as more information comes out. But I mean, this is the future. Artificial intelligence is definitely the way. Everything, you know, from data visualization to your surroundings to everything can be learned better and faster by artificial intelligence than it can by just hard scanning things in or hard entering data, you know. One thing I was thinking that would be cool with this artificial intelligence is, you know, with we just did open world on the HoloLens, right? And some of the comments, if you guys haven't watched that video, it's a great video. Go check it out. There's a lot of great comments, and it's just kind of a fun video to watch. In one of the comments, the guy said it's kind of a shame that it is VR, you know, that it actually doesn't really use much of your surroundings. It uses your surroundings a little bit to track where you are in that VR world, but it would be cool to lay that out over your world. And I was thinking, well, that's impossible. I mean, you can only scan in so far, but it made me start to think, you know, with self-driving cars getting so popular and Google Maps getting so good and so detailed with their 3D buildings and 3D trees and all that, do you see a future where it might be possible where you don't need to scan in outdoors, like using GPS and using artificial intelligence? It already knows your surroundings.
I mean, it all boils down to how accurate is this data that it's been collecting.
I guess that's a good point, but I mean, Tesla, look at Tesla cars. They've been driving, I mean, the more people drive with Tesla, the smarter they get because they learn the roads, and, you know, they're probably using 3D scanning of some sort, so I bet a lot of the road data is already there, maybe not available to the public, but it exists, you know?
I mean, there's just a lot of, like, environmental variables out there that can change on a whim, which would make it, you just have to have, like, real-time sensors everywhere, which is kind of a interesting thought, you know?
That would be weird. Well, I'm thinking you could use like mapping data, like the Google Earth, because that has like really good 3D data, and that'll probably get you pretty decent. So at least your holograms aren't going through Kmart and such like that. And then, you know, then you have real-time sensors on your headset that are really powerful, and those are mapping out the indoors, and those are connected to Wi-Fi hotspots and GPS, so you can then tag those to certain locations of indoors. So eventually the whole world's going to be basically 3D mapped, you know, and you wouldn't have to...
And you can download it right here.
Yeah, or it's all like real-time right in the cloud. Like instead of, you know, what I think about is, you know, video games, how you have a draw distance? It'll kind of be like that. Like your draw distance, your HoloLens can only process out so far in your game that you're playing.
Yeah.
I don't know, I think that'd be awesome.
You get to the edge of mixed reality. Or
Like the game, like you know when you're playing on a computer with somebody and someone's got a bad Wi-Fi connection,
Yeah.
and they're walking in the game and then it just becomes this pit of nothingness.
Yeah.
It's like that basically is what I kind of imagine. Did you see the new Ready Player One trailer?
I haven't. Wait.
We watched it together.
Is that the one you showed me?
Yeah, it's the one we watched
I
together.
did.
Yeah, have you read the book?
I haven't read the book.
I don't know. It's kind of got an interesting premise for those of you that haven't read the movie Ready Player One or seen the trailer. It's about like a dystopian future where the world has become very overpopulated and very impoverished, and to escape the reality of how crappy their reality is, someone came in and made this really awesome MMO where you put on a VR headset and they have haptic gloves, and, you know, really rich people have whole haptic suits, you know, and rigs that you can get in and such. But for as far as the poor people go, they just have gloves and a VR headset. And this is kind of like where people go to school. They use these headsets, like schools supply the headsets so they can learn in them. And the people go to school inside of the VR world, and people go to jobs inside of the VR world and stuff like that. I don't know. It was kind of I love the book. If you guys haven't read the book, it's a really quick read. It's a pretty good science fiction, and I won't spoil anything for you. But that's the setting basically, and there's a lot of 80s trivia and 80s video game stuff in it. It's really cool, especially if you guys are into old video games and books and movies and music and stuff. It's got a lot of that kind of stuff. Anyways, I thought it was just an interesting take on the future. Do you see, like, I remember, have you ever played the game Second Life?
I haven't.
Have you heard of the game Second Life?
Nope.
So Second Life is this MMO where you can like make your character online, and then you can buy property and stuff like that.
I think I know it from The Office.
Oh yeah. Dwight plays it. Dwight plays it in The Office.
Okay.
Yeah, he's like flying his little Second Life character around. Exactly. So that's Second Life.
It's just like his life, but he can just fly. That's it.
Yeah, he like didn't he make his character like exactly like him, and he went to work and everything?
Yep.
So that's funny. That's exactly what I was talking about. I remember when Second Life came out, everybody was like, "Oh, this is." Oh, you're not gonna. I know colleges were like, oh, we're gonna have Second Life classes where you don't have to come to the actual class. You can go to a class in Second Life, or works meetings they'd have their meetings in Second Life and stuff like that. And this was like early 2000s. It's still around, but it's nowhere near as popular as it was. And people were making. I remember there was news articles about people making lots of money designing clothes for their characters and stuff like that. I don't know. Do you think gaming will like mix with real life, you know, where it's like where VR no longer becomes a gaming, it becomes like a way to live your life? Do you see something like that in the near nears in air quotes? I'm not going to put a time date on it, but do you see something like that happening in the near future? For
some people, yes, maybe. I think some people, I mean, with all things, all interests or whatever, you're going to be passionate about it, right? So there's going to be those few people they eat, sleep, and breathe virtual reality, you know?
Yeah.
But But I don't think anything can really replace reality.
Yeah. Definitely, unless the world gets overpopulated and impoverished and everybody's living in trailer houses. Then
just like that book. Yeah.
Yeah, at that point. But so I don't know. I think it's just interesting because I think that's one facet of life that AR cannot help with, really. You know, AR can't really help you escape a lot. Do you think it can? Does it have much escapability? Like, people are saying, oh, you put on those VR goggles and it closes you off to the world. Do you think AR falls prey to that same premise much?
No, I've always viewed like MR and AR as kind of like a utility, if that makes sense. It's like my companion. It helps me with my daily tasks in the real life, you know. I have this heads-up display that gives me directions or tells me I'm late for a meeting or whatever. But that's what I've always viewed it as. It's just another way of informing us and making information more digestible for us in kind of like a visual way, which is a really quick way of getting information.
Like the next generation of computing, you know, so yeah, kind of like your computer. Like, you use your computer for a little bit of gaming, but mostly your computer's used for getting stuff done, wouldn't you say? And browsing internet, accessing information. And I guess this is that next generation of computing. I don't know. I just don't feel like it has the that stigma around it. I kind of feel bad that VR's got that stigma because VR is really fun, you know, and there's a lot of like use cases for it, and it's a hella fun way to game, and it just kind of sucks that it's got that like VR stigma, like, oh, you're escaping from reality, when I don't think it's quite that. I think you're enhancing your own reality. It's not like you're completely escaping into a new world, theoretically. I mean, you're entering a new world, but you're not escaping.
Most things are good in moderation, right? But if you're on the thing for 24 hours a day, then it could be a problem, I think. But
yeah, I guess. Everything's good in moderation. Could you imagine? Oh man, you imagine like the marks on your faces from wearing a VR headset all day.
Like it becomes an Urban Dictionary term.
That's freaking hilarious.
Yeah.
What is that? There's got to be a name for that. What is the name for like leftover marks on your face from a HoloLens or a? We should come up with like a derogatory term. I feel like there'd be a derogatory term. Like, you'd see someone walking around the store and they'd have the HoloLens marks or the VR marks.
Post in a comment below what you think we should term that as.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna call that. Yeah, definitely. Post that in the below. Yeah, that'd be funny to see what people come up with. Yeah, that's funny. I didn't even think about that. So I don't know. Just a little tangent to get on. Let's hit one of our other news stories. I think there was some interesting stuff released about Magic Leap, wasn't there? A PDF. Let me see. Let me find
their new SLAM algorithm.
The new SLAM algorithm. That's what it is. I just lost the link, sadly, but let me see if I can find it really quickly.
They released like a whole PDF article, or was it leaked? What's the deal?
Let's see. I'm gonna Control F and just search for leaked. Don't. I'm not seeing leaked anywhere. I'm going to say released.
So, they released something. Okay. I haven't read the article. I don't. Okay,
I'll read a little bit. Did you glance over the PDF? The PDF's insane.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's got a lot of details.
So Magic Leap researchers reveal deep SLAM tracking algorithm. Still doesn't have. So Magic Leap, as we know, still doesn't have a headset to show the world. But in a recent paper published by Magic Leap researchers entitled "Toward Geometric Deep SLAM," we get a peek into novel machine vision technique that aims to bring the company closer to their goal of creating a robust standalone AR headset. This was made by Daniel Dayton, a Magic Leap researcher, Thomas, a very hard name that I'm not going to even try to pronounce, Andrew Rabinovic, and the paper describes a tracking system powered by two deep convolutional neural networks, also known as CNNs. A type of artificial brain used for image processing called Magic Point and Magic Warp. So they've already patented it with their name, because why wouldn't they? The researchers contend the two CNNs allow for a system that's fast and lean, easily running 30 plus frames per second on a single CPU. How many CPUs are there going to be? 30 frames is not that fast.
It's fast enough. I mean,
Really? For real time right in front of your eyes? HoloLens is 60 frames a second, solid, never drop. Well, I mean, it drops sometimes, but, you know.
We watch movies at 24 frames a second.
Yeah, but that's cinema. You don't game at 60. You don't game at 24. True. You don't... And movies aren't always that anymore.
No, not always.
I'm curious about that. I wonder what the new standard for frames in movies are, because a lot are 60 now.
Okay, let's not get on a film tangent.
Yeah. Here's the quick and dirty. According to the paper, Magic Point operates on single images and creates 2D points important to the purpose of tracking, and these points destined to be fed into a simultaneous localization and mapping, a SLAM algorithm. Comparing their network to classical point detectors, the team discovered a significant performance gap in the presence of image noise. So this is actually quite similar to kind of get back on a film tangent. This is actually very similar to the way they do motion tracking in Adobe After Effects and traditional motion tracking. So the way you used to do it back in the days is you'd have to put a bunch of points up on the walls if you wanted to do on-the-fly motion tracking. You'd have to put a bunch of points on the walls, or think of the actors in the blue suits with all the dots on them, and use those dots to reference the back area. And if those dots move and the back area stays the same, you can go ahead.
Sorry to just train wreck your thoughts, but. So if I'm understanding correctly, it takes a 3D object like your couch in your living room, and like each like big point of interest, it puts a dot on it and makes it 2D.
Exactly, but reverse. It takes a 2D object and makes it a 3D object, because the camera only films in 2D. So it takes a 2D image and makes a 3D object out of it using point rendering. And this is the same way you do it in movies with motion tracking and stuff like that. Is a good example is a green screen. This is why people motion track against green screens, because if you have a darker color in front of the green, you can then see that, well, there's chroma keying, but for tracking purposes. But basically the best way to do it is the dots on someone's face. If a dot moves and the background doesn't move, you've then discerned that there is a gap between those two, and you can measure that gap by the amount of distance between the two, and it's kind of interesting. So you can look, they have a little picture down here. You should open up this link and check out this picture. It's pretty good. Where they have 2 frames and it goes through and it grabs them all, and then it takes 2 pictures and references those pictures against each other with their points as you moved your head, and between those 2 frames you can discern distance. It's actually, if I understand correctly, this is similar to how what's the new Google Lens. This is similar to how Google Lens works, and similar to how ARKit works. I think they've enhanced the way it works, but I think essentially this is the same concept behind the technology.
Interesting.
Yes.
I'm no computer scientist, so this is kind of going over my head.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, that's why, for us, at least, I use the motion tracking, because that's more down our alley with film and such. So it is interesting. I'm going to go ahead and click on the full paper now. We'll have a link in the link dump for you guys to check it out. So while we don't have a clear idea of exactly when Magic Leap will have a public prototype of their light field display packing headset, or what CEO Ronnie Abovitz teases as small, mobile, powerful, and pretty cool. Oh, God. We'll take anything we can get after more than 3 years of waiting. Anything but their post-cool pre-factual marketing campaign, that is. Post-cool pre-factual marketing.
That's funny. That's awesome.
So, so I guess this is our weekly Magic Leap drama segment, but we actually have some substance to the drama. This is a huge PDF. It's taking forever to download.
I'm excited because they've actually released something that's viable,
Yeah, exactly.
And
this is some research paper. This is some, hey, check this stuff out. So let's see, this PDF's like 15 pages long. It's a really great write-up of how it all works. It is a brain killer. I think it's almost intentionally complicated. From what I was reading on the Holo developers Slack and reading what the developers were saying about it, this is not the best way to handle this. I don't know. So don't take my word for. I'm not a developer for the HoloLens. I'm still pretty new to understanding the technologies. But what they were saying is that this is kind of an older fashioned way to do it, and for a headset, it's not like the best way to handle this. From what I'm understanding, apparently there's the avenues that Magic Leap and Avegant and Microsoft are taking are much more performant. I don't understand. So if you guys understand it, leave comments below. I'm really curious to know about this specifically because I don't know. From what I understand, this is the same way ARKit works, and ARKit works really well. So I have no idea. It's so much math on the PDF.
Yeah.
So much algorithms and math and everything. It's insane. So yeah, it's a great little write-up though. So you guys should check that out. Andrew Robinivic. I got their ethos. We present a point tracking system powered by 2 deep convolutional neural networks. The first network, it just gets... The system is fast and lean, easily running 30 frames per second. You're going to have to go faster than 30 frames a second, the whole thing. Maybe that's just on one CPU. I wonder how many CPUs there will be.
Yep.
But we don't know.
We can only speculate.
So what's up with you, Austin?
What's up with me?
Yeah, what's up with you?
Oh, I got a kind of cool article. It was released today, I believe. So Disney just developed this thing called the Magic Bench. Have you heard of it?
The Magic Bench? I have not heard of this. Did you put a link on it somewhere?
I have not.
You should drop me a link.
Okay,
I'm
will.
Curious.
So Disney, they've been researching and they wanted kind of their take on this mixed reality Magic Bench is they wanted to take away the headset, the clunky hardware, and they wanted to make it more like a natural experience where the MR, instead of having the headset, it interacts in the environment that you're in. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you basically just sit in front of a screen on this bench and then like mixed reality figures appear on the screen and they interact with you, and the bench has like haptic feedback and stuff, so it seems like that the object is there or the character is actually there. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, this is something definitely visual you'll have to look at. It's a very visual. So it's like almost, yeah, like you said, like looking in a mirror, but an AR character's next to you. This is pretty cool. Did you see the video? Did you watch the video where they're like, it's cool. There's like 2 layers, and then when you match up the layers, they look exactly alike. I don't know.
It's basically like a connect with a layer, a video layer of yourself, and then I think that's what it, right?
Yeah, it's cool. I think that's probably as far as it goes. I think the coolest thing is there's the haptic feedback in the chair. So, because
I mean, it makes it like just like the implications of it. Like, I don't know, what could you use with this?
I don't know. See, the problem is right when you turn your head away from the screen. I guess, like so they show like a little bunny hopping around, and they try to put their hand around him, and during certain canned moments, it would move. I mean, it would react to the way you touched the hologram. I don't know. This is something you're gonna have to go look at. So if you guys are on the podcast, look up the link in the link up. We'll have it down there. It's something you definitely have to see for yourself. Tell us your guys' thoughts on this. I'm curious. What do you think, Austin? Like, I don't see much besides Disney use. I do not see much use for this. But Disney is phenomenal, so they'll do whatever they want.
I know. Yeah, it's entertaining, you know.
I'm just trying to brainstorm.
I'm trying to think of an implication where
I don't get why it's so special. I feel like a dev could hack that up in a couple days.
Maybe.
With a Kinect and stuff. I mean, why couldn't you?
I don't know. Why hasn't it been done yet? There's obviously some problems they had to overcome.
I guess you're right. Real-time imaging. The Magic Bench's 3D reconstruction uses a combination of the depth and color sensors on an off-the-shelf Microsoft Kinect. Oh, it uses a Microsoft Kinect.
Oh, it does?
Yeah, it uses a Kinect. Here's the technical explanation. For those interested in this level of detail, we draw polygons using each point in the point cloud as a vertex, creating an appearance of a solid mesh. The mesh is then aligned to the RGB camera feed of the scene from the same Kinect. This alignment gives the mesh color and completes a 3D reconstructed video feed. Oh, so they're like it's the same concept between holoportation essentially. Except you're watching yourself instead of watching someone else holo teleport. It's so you're watching yourself holo teleport basically. So they're taking you, turning you into a 3D model essentially, and then layering that over. So basically the same thing that Kinect does, because Kinect kind of works the same way. You know, when you're playing a game and you jump, it's just got like a camera in place. So I mean, it's a great. You know what this showcases to me, though?
What?
The most important thing from this article is that big companies are getting behind AR and similar technologies. You know what I mean? You know, because if Disney didn't see anything in it, they would not put any time in this. If they didn't see any money to be made from it, they wouldn't put any time or work into it.
Well, I think the entertainment value of it is pretty cool. I think it'd be fun, like different. Like interact with different characters and stuff.
Oh yeah, could you imagine being a kid and getting to hang out with like Mickey Mouse there, right next to you, or Elsa from Frozen or something like that? That would be really awesome as a kid.
Like get a picture.
Oh yeah, you could like screenshot the picture of you. Like I like the ideas of the haptic feedback though. That's really cool. Like so, if someone thumps the table, you feel it, or if they spray water,
and it's cool.
They actually spray you with water.
It's cool with Disney because they have like Disney animations, and so it actually can look like the character, you know?
Yeah, you know, they don't have to get around copyright or anything like that. Mm-hmm. And they have really good animators. Mm-hmm. So it's probably going to look awesome. So that's cool. I think the biggest thing behind this is it's another proof of concept that companies are getting behind AR and MR technologies. You know, maybe not in the traditional sense. It'd be kind of boring if they were doing it in the traditional sense. This is kind of cool that they're taking their own take on it. I posted a really cool thing. Let me see if I can find it really quickly.
I mean, what I like about this is that they call it a walk up and play experience. You don't have to like adjust a HoloLens on your face or you know, start a computer, and if it's already running, of course. You
don't have to teach anybody how to use it. It's natural as all heck.
It's seamless. I like that aspect of it.
That is nice. That's a really good way to get people on board with this. Be like, hey, this is cool. It was super easy. If you want to take it just a step further, let's bump it up to a HoloLens or an AR headset, you know, and people be like, oh yeah, heck yeah, let's do it. Let me see, where the hell was it? I think it was in Slack. So I just sent Austin a link to Canon's mixed reality headset that they've been working on. Are you watching them like shake their heads around? Watch the video of the Asian guy shaking their head. Right here. Watch him like, He shakes his head. Yes. You know they're not seeing anything right now. Nope. This is totally a tech demo. He's shaking his head, looking at him. He's like,
Yes, I agree. This is a nice car.
Oh, here we go. We actually get to see a...
What? Canon's in the industry now?
Dude, everybody is. Dude, this headset looks trippy, dude. So, this is called the Canon MREAL, revolutionizing manufacturing processes with mixed reality. Oh, it's interesting, though. They use... what are they called? They use points. They use points on the walls. If you watch that video right there, they have like the little QR things.
Okay.
Little QR beacons. Points. Yeah. The little beacons to attach onto. So it doesn't look like it's using real tracking. It also looks like it's tethered. The introduction of the MR system, launching the compact, lightweight, high image quality MREAL system. The launch of this has been out since 2012 though. Yeah. So it looks like they were on the game before anybody else. I mean, that's a very Canon thing to do, though. So I guess we shouldn't make fun of it too much. It looks like they're the ones that set the bar. Freeform prism, MR video camera.
Do you think that those are just rendered in, or is that real?
I don't know. I was trying to think. I think with Canon it'd probably be real. I mean, they have enough cameras.
I mean, those look amazing. Like.
Yeah. I don't know.
And it is mixed reality, so.
It might be real. Might be part real, part not real. Some of it looks real. Some of the tech demos. I think the ones that are low resolution are real, and the ones that are not real, which we see. But that's cool that Canon's been in the game since 2012. All right, I think it's
MREAL. That's what it is.
MREAL.
Eric, look at these headsets. Well, it's the MREAL, but this was 4 years ago. It's crazy.
The technology that they had?
Just the improvements we've had.
Oh, in only 4 years. Like that'll be actually a good topic.
Because this just looks really crazy.
All right, so Austin just sent me a link to the Canon MREAL mixed reality hands-on Engadget. There, the hands-on test, 2013. We're looking at this. Oh wow! Look, they use like the Canon straps and everything.
I just like the little like Wi-Fi receiver. I don't know what it is.
That's like the spatial mapping. That's for the sensors. Like they probably have they're probably using like Vive. They're probably using Tower somewhere else, and that's so that the tower can find it. That's interesting. That's pretty cool though. 2013. Look at how far we've come. Untethered. Canon. It looks like Canon kind of dropped the. Whoa, this looks like a really nice tech demo though. Are you watching that girl dance around and stuff? No. Just skip forward to like 1 minute and 40 seconds. This tech demo looks awesome actually. That girl looks really good. Looks like really high frame rate. Looks really real. Oh, this is cool. Interesting. So I guess that just shows an example. I mean, if they look what they've accomplished in 4 years, and now that so many people are jumping on the game, that was before anybody really gave a crap about AR or anything like that. Imagine what the next 4 years is going to hold. I mean, you think in 4 years we're going to look back at our headsets we have now and just laugh our asses off, just being like, oh my god, we actually wore the HoloLens, how dorky we look. That's funny.
Think of the beige monster machines back in the day.
Dude, those are awesome. I'm rocking a IBM right now, dude.
I know.
Dude, what if it? That's weird to think about. What if it goes so far forward that it becomes like retro? Dude. Like a HoloLens is like the cool thing to wear. Like how big, thick-framed glasses are really popular right now.
It'd be cool to wear HoloLens, even though it's so outdated.
Dude, that's hilarious to think about. Oh man. How many years? That'll have to be like 20 years or something, though, for it to be like cool again.
Look, I found this in my grandpa's attic.
Oh, yeah, because, I mean, seriously, that could be right around the time that you'd have grandkids. Your grandkid would find it and be like, is this a HoloLens? And you'd be like, hell yeah, that's a HoloLens. And they'd be like, can I take this to school? And be like, yeah, you can take it to school. That is crazy. Like how Apple IIs are like the thing, owning an Apple II is like really cool to have. Oh man, that's really interesting to think about, like the nostalgia level of it. I mean, I don't see it going up in value for a really, 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 really long time, but I definitely see that would be so weird. Someone's like wearing that around, and everybody's like, "Oh my god, is that like a real?" Like how people wear classic Ray-Bans, and it's like the cool thing. Wow, that's so funny to think about. One day, man, one day, but until that day comes, you're gonna have to just subscribe to the Holo Herald to stay up to date on all your mixed reality
deal with our bullcrap
for all your stuff. Well, I guess that's probably a good place. I couldn't find the leak I was looking for, so maybe I'll have to discuss it next week when I find it. It's a kind of a quicker podcast for you guys. Sorry again we couldn't live stream, but it's been a good podcast. Any closing words, Austin?
Nope. Just make sure to shoot, I forgot what I was gonna say.
Make sure to what, Austin? Make sure to what?
Make sure to oh geez.
Austin, what? Make sure to what? What are they making sure?
Make sure to.
There's so many words you could use right now. So many.
I don't know. Make sure to do something good with your life.
Gee, we can't put that in the podcast, and if someone doesn't do something good with their life, they're going to feel bad. We can't make our viewers feel bad.
Okay.
How about this? Make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed the podcast for more AR news and content. This is the #1 place for you guys to get all of your information, so you don't have to scour the internet and be on all the forums and stuff like that. Unless you're into that, then join us on the forums, join us there, and we can chat and have a good time. If you guys have any questions, responses, if you guys were mad at us, if you thought we said something stupid, if you thought we said something smart, leave leave a comment below. We people love to crap on us. It's a good time. You can just join that in the comments below. More importantly, we have a Twitter. At the Holo Herald. We haven't plugged it forever, but if you guys want to stay up to date on all that news there, we're hopefully going to start actually using that. So go ahead and follow us there. If you've made it to the end, if you're actually listening right now, you are an OG fan, and either leave a message saying MR is Star Wars. If you hear this, and if you put a message MR is Star Wars, we'll give you a little something. So you'll be a real OG and we'll repay you for that. And everybody else will be like, what the heck is that person saying? So I don't expect anybody to put that.
Nobody knows what MR Star Wars is.
I know, that's why it's funny. Maybe actually the people that listen this far in the podcast will know what MR Star Wars means. So yeah, put MR Star Wars in a comment below, and we'll toss you guys a little something. So maybe an Amazon gift card, a Steam gift card, something cool like that. So yes, thank you guys so much. This has been the Holo Herald podcast, episode 21, and we're signing off.
Yay, we can drink now.
Have a good one, guys.